Let's go.
Good evening and welcome to Enterprise at 8. Yes. And it's a kind of a sad day today.
Why, Jody?
Dave isn't here and we had to watch Minefield. All right. Anyway, this is Live Along and Podcast, the Star Trek Enterprise rewatch series. It's been about 20 years since tonight's episode Minefield first aired, but we're just getting started here at Enterprise at 8. I'm Jody Simpson, and joining me is my co-host and the man who will have to wait in line for the osmetic eel to cauterize his wound, Adam Woodward.
Thank you, Jody.
I don't know how to switch people. Oh, jeez. Hold on. Maybe I can do this. There we go. Oh, there it is. All right. I figured this part out. Now you're bigger.
Thank you.
I know.
I like your introductions more and more every week.
Do you? Okay. Thank you. I try to put a little bit into it. Unlike those lazy bastards over at DS9 at 9ish. Anyway. And speaking of DS9 at 9ish.
Speaking of lazy bastards.
And of course, the man who is as subtle as a warning shot that misses the nacelle by less than 20 meters, Kevin Millard.
I'm the man that almost rage peed in his pants watching this fucking episode.
Rage peed? I'm not sure I'm familiar with that term, but all right.
Oh,
rage
God.
peed. I don't know if we needed to go any further into that.
No, we're good.
We're good? Okay. Sounds like a plan. All right. So let's get these going here. All right. So yeah, this is basically, as I said, hold on here. I still have more to my intro, apparently. Tonight's episode is Minefield. This is the 28th episode in the series. This is the episode where Enterprise strays into a Romulan minefield. First time we get to see the Romulans in this series. And is disabled by a cloaked mine. Well, deactivating another mine, Reed gets pinned to the ship's hull. And he doesn't die.
I think we're all kind of sad about that.
We are kind of sad about that, aren't we?
He didn't die. Damn.
Yeah. You know what? The guy who plays Reed, I'm sure, is a very nice man. But that character is terrible. But anyway.
Awful. And you put him and Archer together? Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. It's like
and
a
then you put them
trifecta
in
of shit.
too? Like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's not a good time. I think that's the easiest way to explain that.
And somehow that was all better than this. Than awkward Reed. Like, he's talked to him before. Like, what?
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, my God.
Oh boy. All right, well, let's get this terrain wreck going. All right. Anyway, so we first start off by essentially Archer invites Reed to breakfast.
Weird.
Yeah, like why would you want to have breakfast with this guy? But anyway, I guess it's like a rotational thing. Like he's like bound to do this, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's like a review thing. I don't get it. But anyway, so he invites him, and Reed is like all business. Like he's like he walks in and he's like, oh, crew schedules and this and that and this and that. And he's like, the chef made you eggs Benedict. Why don't you sit down and eat it?
Let's just talk. Let's just get to
let's
know each
just
other.
talk. Every time somebody says that to you, it's usually not a good thing. Like we've all had that girlfriend who's been like, yeah, so we have to have a chat. It's like one of those things, right? What's going on there?
He just anyway. Like, here's what I don't understand about this whole scene to start with. Is like he's a member of the senior staff. He's already elevated. Why is he so uncomfortable in this job? Like in this,
yeah, and that's like he's an armory expert, or at least that's what we're told. He doesn't fit. I don't get what, like, I guess he's supposed to be like the fish out of water kind of guy, or like the guy that nobody like the guy that nobody wants to hang out with, like Barclay, basically.
Yeah, but Barclay was a lieutenant that on a ship of how many thousands of people. Like he was just a guy.
Yeah.
This guy, like I said,
the crew complement on this ship is what, 88 or something
80,
like that.
He wasn't the fourth person in command. Like a lot of people had to die before Barclay took over.
Yes, that's true. like you would have to lose everybody in Next Gen before Barclay could take over. And even then, it would probably go to Wesley anyway. Like,
Well, he would just, secede it over and pass it over to Wesley just because.
he just doesn't want to do it. But yeah, it's brutal watching this episode. Like, and the worst thing about it is it's not like a bad concept for an episode. Now it's been done. Like this is regurgitated next gen stuff, but it's still not bad. But everything with Reed in it just oozes ouch. Like I don't even have words.
So gloomy too. Like,
Well,
Yeah,
that's my point.
everything is worst case scenario.
Everything is death with him. Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, dire this, dire that, dire this, dire that. Anyway, we're gonna skip over the breakfast thing because it's terrible.
It's
And
awful. It's so off-putting. It's a terrible way to start an episode.
yeah,
You just feel
the
awkward when you're done watching it.
yeah,
See-
you're just like, wow, this is terrible.
I watched this episode last Sunday, and
Yes.
I don't even remember what it's about, other than I can't stand Malcolm.
Yeah. Malcolm really gets in the way of what story is here, which isn't a lot. Basically, the Enterprise finds an M-class planet. They're like, oh, it's time to have some shore leave, because that's literally what Archer does every time he finds a Class M planet. He's like,
Didn't they
all
just
right,
have
everybody,
shore leave?
all right, everybody, get your folding chairs and your campsite stuff, and let's get down there. Like that's literally how he explores the galaxy. Everything is a camping trip to him. But anyway,
And a ghost story to little
yeah.
Mayweather.
Well, that's why Mayweather's here. Mayweather has to give us the ghost stories, but it's just. I don't. Okay, now I do apologize for this because Dave did all these screenshots. I didn't. So don't complain about Archer being super fast. But let's be honest, Archer is never
He's always
still.
fucking moving.
So
trying to
maybe
get him-
Dave actually put this in for a good reason. Yeah. But anyway. And then what ends up happening is all of a sudden an explosion happens as they're like about to orbit this planet. An explosion happens. Hoshi gets, knocked off of her ass, gets knocked out with a concussion. And, the Enterprise, saying some insane damage. With that.
If only the Enterprise had shuttle bay doors all around it, it would be
Only.
totally fine.
Yeah, exactly. Chris Murphy says, Adam, adjust your mic lower to your chin. I'm in your nose. There you go. All right. We've taken care of that now. All right. Apparently he said he could hear the sound of the air going through your nose.
I hear that. Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thank you, Chris. I don't know who Chris is, but thank you, Chris. Anyway, so let's get back to all this. I don't even want to, but let's do it anyway. So we got to take the bad with the good, gentlemen.
We had two great episodes, or three. I can't remember now. But
I gave
three.
3 10s in a row.
He gave 3 10s in a row, and I have a funny feeling that's not happening this time. But anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know what? And the damage effect for 20 years ago, this looks pretty good. It's CG'd, obviously, because this is the first series that really did a lot of CG. But overall, the damage is kind of neat. Apparently, Dave was really fascinated with the damage. All right, so then here we go. The two characters that we never want to see on the screen together, but we unfortunately have. Reed's like, I don't know what happened. And this, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but literally Archer walks away from him, looks at Hoshi for a second, and then goes, come on, Reed, what's going on? Right? Like he doesn't give him any time at all. Like he's just like, come on, where is
figure it out. What's going on?
Yeah, figure it out. What's going on? But anyway, so Reed's like, it was an explosion. Yeah, we all know that because the ship rocked and whatnot. But anyway, and he's like, but there's some weird thing attached to us now. And turns out it's this kind of sphere kind of thing, which is attached to the hull. Turns out it's wait for it, a mine in a Minefield episode. Makes sense. I think we already knew what that was, but anyway. So Archer's like, huh? Mines? I think my representation of these pictures is actually better than the episode itself. But anyway, hey, we have this weird looking thing here. I like the design of the mine. I thought that was kind of neat. How'd you feel about the mine, guys?
Hasn't really changed so
I don't
much
have a
since
hell of a lot to talk about with this episode. I'm telling you right now.
since World War II. It looks almost the same, just without those,
Yeah.
Doesn't have the little peggies hanging out.
contact pegs. Yeah.
Yeah, contact pegs. Yeah. So here's the star of the show, the Grappler.
Woohoo!
The Grappler makes another appearance in Enterprise because that's what it does now.
He asked if they have, I don't know, remember what it was, if they have that thing still attached to the grappler. Shouldn't he know? Shouldn't Mayweather know? He's like, I think
Should
so.
somebody on the ship know that? Yeah, like it kind of makes sense. Like, why would they take it off? Number one, is there any practical reason to take it off? Like, does it suck up a lot of energy, or
They need to do some
what's the deal here?
grappling.
And on top of that, it's basically this is their tractor beam, right? Like this
Right.
is the tractor beam of this show. And the original show really did use the tractor beam thing a bit. So I understand why this is here. But the grappler literally is more useful than Malcolm is. Like it really is. Like, let's be honest. It's grabbed things and done things correctly, which is something probably Malcolm hasn't done. But anyway, this is just a terrible episode. Anyway, I'm not going to give it away, but it's not going to be a good rating. Now the suit scene, I like seeing the suits. I like how utilitarian they are. I like the fact that the pack is not part of the suit, but somehow feeds the suit. Like, did you notice that? Like, it's all the chest plate is like one piece. It's not actually attached to the actual environment suit, but somehow
it goes over top, right?
Yeah, but it goes over top. But then later on, we see, when the piercing of his leg happens, this kind of gel stuff comes out to like seal the suit. So that I thought that was cool. Actually, that was a neat little
cool.
touch.
I wonder why they. I guess they only came up with that during this show because it's not in any of the other.
No,
they could have used that. They could have used that in First Contact. Remember?
Yeah, because at First Contact they ended up like tying a Borg arm around his arm, right, or something like that.
It's a good concept. I like it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it was.
Unfortunately, it saved Malcolm.
Yeah. Dave Mater says, who is currently on leave. He's
sort
not
of
participating tonight. He's got a prior engagement that is way more important than this episode, and I don't blame him.
But he's still participating. Just notice.
He's still participating. Malcolm always wants to die. It's his thing. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. That's fairly accurate.
Too. We kind of always want him to die.
Now, did it make sense that Malcolm is the one that has to go out to deal with this? Now, he is an armory expert. I get that. But do you really want to send the guy who's notorious for getting close to death out on the hull of a ship in space?
Yeah, the suicidal guy's probably not the best choice, but the armory officer is.
Yeah. If only there was somebody else on staff that knew these things instead of just Malcolm. But anyway, this is not a good Malcolm episode, I'm going to have to say. But anyway. So they end up adjusting the thing that's on the grappler, and now they can see the mines. So I guess they found the right phase or whatever techie word that they decided to use this week. And they found all these mines, and yeah, it's a daunting scene, I guess, because like all of a sudden you see all these mines and they're like, oh, they're screwed. There's a lot of mines here. Now, my question to you is this. They're in the middle of this minefield. How did they not randomly hit one of these things already? They're everywhere.
Yeah, but this is a Star Trek thing. You all of a sudden you're in the middle of like
You're
whatever.
in the middle of it, yeah.
Yeah.
You safely get to the middle of it, but getting out is impossible.
But why can't they just use phasers and like knock them out? Like just clear a pathway.
Yeah. You would think that would be a good. You know what? That would have been convenient, and we just don't do that in Star Trek. Oh
just
wait,
get
we do.
all your shuttle pod doors and put them in front of the ship.
That's right.
And just
make
go
a barricade. Out. Make a barricade and roll out. You'll be fine. Anyway. So yeah, we see the dauntless amount of them. It's insane. Now we got CG Malcolm out on the ship hull. This ship is clean. This is a clean ship. Like, do they clean this thing? Like,
well, this is the one scene in the CGI world that walking just
it didn't work at all.
They didn't work it.
Yeah, no, the animation was wrong. I don't know what happened there. It almost looked like they were like animating like 20 frames a second and then they sped it up. Like it was really weird. Yeah.
It looked like James Cameron and Titanic. He couldn't make the people walk either nicely. They
No.
awkward, right?
Yeah, it looked brutal. But I think that was just a limitation of the technology 20 years ago. Right?
It's fine. Good attempt.
Yeah. Because now we have better than
right? They don't have the same time as they would have in a movie to make everything perfect.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. They have very limited amount. Obviously this then goes to the actual actor on a stage. I think they did pretty good. I like the lighting. The lighting of this set looked really neat. I thought it gave us a bit of a kind of a chilling look at the mine, even though there's some sort of light source. We don't actually know what it is, but there is a light source one way or the other. I love how all the panels have a number. They have like a serial number for every panel on the ship, which is something every single ship had, but they didn't really portray it very well. But in most of this series, but I did like that. I like his little kit. I think all of this stuff, like all the props, look really good in this episode. There, I've said something positive about this episode.
No,
the props look good.
You're not wrong. This is a pretty cool scene. Any kind of scene where they're going and walking on the ship, I like. Generally.
Yeah. And this would have came out. What? This would have been. When did First Contact come out? First Contact came out in what? 98. Am I right on that? Yeah, I can't remember. We'll have to look that up. But it reminded me a lot of the First Contact scene where they're walking, but we didn't get the upside down and then the camera flips around and goes right side up thing. I would have liked that, but anyway, can't have everything. But what do you want? So we end up seeing this mechanism, which is, I guess, the mechanism to arm it or disarm it. Did anybody catch what this actually was for?
Well, once you see green, you know it's going to be Romulan.
Yes. Well, we already knew this was Romulan anyway. Let's be honest, but we had an
first contact was 96, just to give you context there.
96. Okay. Yeah. So this would have been 5 years after that, 6 years after that. So there you go. But anyway, I like the suit design. I like the set. I think it looks great. The whole Malcolm, doing this mine thing. He seems to be able to figure it out pretty quickly what it is.
Again, he's from British stock. He's been down this road before. His family has.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like it's. Yeah. I don't know. I'm really torn on this episode because it's I like the premise of the episode, and I honestly think if anybody else was in this suit, I would have enjoyed it more.
No, any other cast. There's so few good cast. Like, you only get a good episode when it revolves around T'Pol or Phlox or sometimes Hoshi.
But Hoshi, she just needs more. I think she could be, because.
They literally make her useless this entire episode. Like, they literally knock her out, and halfway through the episode.
I know, right?
Like this girl gets a translator. So much head trauma.
There's possibly something Hoshi could do. Well, let's knock her out.
Yeah. It's almost like they were against the idea of her being in the episode or something.
I like the scenes of the Romulan ship when Malcolm is outside. When that was pretty cool.
And this brings up a question from Dave Mater. Did you guys like how the Romulans were used in this episode?
It's fine.
It could have been better, but you know what? It was kind of intriguing to see it. It was, all of a sudden you see this ship and you're like, oh, that's Romulan. Right, you pretty much know right away. It's a green ship. It's Romulan.
If we're gonna have a Romulan episode, I want it to be better.
Well, there is future Romulan episodes, but
this is basically the ship.
This is the introduction of them.
But they was a weak introduction then.
Yeah, very weak, very weak. Yeah. They could have done so much more with this. Look how we essentially were. we were introduced to the Klingons in this series. In the pilot episode, the first episode. That's how we get introduced to the Klingons. Which was an interesting story.
Yeah.
Like, it was an interesting idea. They got to return it back to Kronos, whatever.
Instead, we got a whole long story about how Reed is afraid of water, like we're supposed to give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, that's what this episode is about.
It's about Reed being
pessimistic.
Yeah. That's about it. Like,
I'd hate to report into this guy. Like, he must be just the worst boss ever.
Oh, he must be brutal. Like, it just, you're like, so how was your weekend? He's like, meh. Like,
they were out a pineapple. They were
at a pineapple cake. Yeah.
I tried to get a girl. Of course, she didn't listen to me.
Yeah.
And
he's probably, I would say he's probably one of the characters throughout this show that doesn't change much. Like, he doesn't really change. Like, this is in season 4, he's a lot like this still. Like,
well,
it's
when they bring in the Marines,
he's more energetic then.
No, only because he has to step up a bit.
Yeah, he's got to step up because literally they have people on the ship that are more interesting than he is. Like, that's literally it. The whole Makos thing, I like the Makos stuff, but we'll see that later on. It gives me more of a Aliens vibe.
But he's very threatened by them
show
as well. When
he is, because he literally is like, these people are better than me, in every way. Like, and they probably don't eat pineapple cake,
and they are.
Like,
they are better than him. Yeah, but anyway, But the Romulan, I liked the introduction of the ship at least. It was neat to see. Yeah, it looked good. For 20-year-old CG, I think it holds up pretty good. It's not bad. The one thing that they do great on this show is the planets. The planets always look great, right? Like, this planet obviously is very much just a planet like Earth, right? But it looks good. It always looks good. The lighting, I think, works well. And the animation that they do with the planets, I think, always works pretty well too. So, hats off to them for that. I'm literally talking about CG because this episode's that bad.
Well, yeah, the planets don't have to act, so they're great.
Yeah, the planets don't act. Actually, the planet right now is probably acting better than Malcolm in this episode. But anyway, but I like how it kind of flew in, and then I like the fact that we got to see some Phlox. That's always a good time. He got like a one sentence here, and then after that. But I did like the little eel thing later on where he's like, oh, they're having a good workout today. It's like, because he uses eels for bloodletting, right? Because, this is basically a medieval sickbay. But I did like that. The sickbay stuff always is usually decent. Like, usually when I see the sickbay stuff, I'm like, okay, it'll be okay.
Because you got a good character in there.
That's right.
Yeah. A character that isn't on the command deck at any point that, it would be good if he was, but he isn't. But
I would have rather seen more of him treating the injured than more,
absolutely. 100%. Like, why didn't they just send Phlox out there? Like, they know Malcolm's injured.
Wouldn't have made any sense, but it would have been a better show.
It would have been more fun. Well, do you remember in what, Into Darkness, the second of the remake movies, they send McCoy and what's her name to disarm the torpedo. That was interesting.
Yes, it was.
He's like, I don't know anything about ordnance. Like, wow. Imagine Phlox doing that. Phlox would be like, I don't know what, should I put eels on it? Like, how do we do with this thing, right? But Anyway, again, I don't have a lot to talk about with this episode. Dave Bader says they spend a lot of time on that mine. Lots of Archer turning panels and knobs. Yeah. Well, they didn't want him walking around too much because, he might float off.
Still, he walked around all the time on the fucking outside of the ship.
Yep.
Still.
What's this do?
Burn. So anyway, basically the Romulans, who at this point we don't know are Romulans, even though we all know they're Romulans. They take a couple warning shots off them. They basically graze the nacelles, and someone makes a reference to, well, that was that's a very interesting way to do that, basically. Yeah,
a subtle warning shot.
Now this part bugged me. Okay. Because we see an external shot, we get a close up of one of the nacelles, which it's a nice shot. It's a cool shot. And we kind of get an idea of how big the nacelles really are. Like in reality, like he's well in front of it, and it's still huge. Yeah, it's still huge. So I love that. I like the marbling of it and everything like that. So the Romulans take a shot over, and Malcolm doesn't even flinch. Doesn't flinch or anything. No, but like he doesn't even look at it. He doesn't do anything. Like, let's be honest, you phaser fire, you're gonna see that, and you're gonna be like, whoa. Like, even if he just looked up and went, like that for a second would have been more believable. But literally, you knew that this was a composite shot, that no way in hell this was being shown to him, and he had no idea that this was happening. This is almost like a stock footage shot that they took, and then they decided to put the phaser fire in after, right? Like, that to me is what this is. This is just lazy. Like, there's no reason why number one, he knows there's a ship there because someone's already communicated that to him. And then on top of that, there's a phaser fire shot, and he literally doesn't even look up. Like, that just bugs me. I don't know why, but it does. Anybody else, like Archer, would have been like, whoa, something like that, right? He probably would have walked towards it a couple times, but what can you do? Anyway, that bugged me. But anyway, then we see the manual steering assist come out because they have that, I guess. Well, I guess they do, because even in the D, they had that when it was crashing, right? They were crashing on the planet in the movie in Generations. They had some sort of manual thing, from what I remember, but I could be wrong. Who knows? Again, I'm talking about something else because this episode sucks. Anyway, so this comes out, and of course, Mayweather's going to be the one that's going to fly through all this. Now, why do we think that that Mayweather is a good pilot? Like, he flew like cargo
freighters
before this, like freighters,
like at warp 1 or 2, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be like saying, okay, the guy who drives the 18-wheel truck can be the same guy that drives a Formula 1 race car. No, they're different vehicles.
Yeah,
they totally act differently.
You got to believe that he's had some feedback, some training on something. Like,
yeah.
That just occurred to me when this came out. When this came out, I'm like, wait a second. Like in Next Gen, we knew who the actual pilots were, because there was always a mention of like, oh, he was top in the class or something like
Riker's
that.
The
even
best
in Voyager,
in the fleet.
Yes, Riker's the best pilot in the fleet. So every time Riker had the controls, you're like, makes sense.
Yep.
The guy knows how to fly it.
Tom
Paris, same thing.
Yep.
Tom Paris, he's a hoodlum, but at least he knows how to fly them.
He may not be the best in the fleet, but he's the best they've got on the ship.
Well, maybe Hoshi is the one that actually is best in the fleet. We just don't know that yet.
Kirk, maybe. Because people were too afraid to tell him he wasn't.
Yes. And I don't know how many times he crashed shuttle pods, but he crashed them a lot. So, yeah. Anyway.
And then I like when Picard got in, because he always cracked his knuckles.
Yeah. Picard's like, it's been a while, but I'm pretty good at this.
Let me see if I remember how to do this.
Last time I flew one of these, I had 3 bottles of wine under me. All right, let's give this a shot. But yeah, no, it's they're gonna fly through the mines. The mines that literally they're encased in at this point.
A little more with this, I think, flying through the mines.
This could have been stretched out a little bit more. We could have got a little bit more suspense.
Well, what was that episode where they were hitting the quantum filaments or something in an Next Gen episode? They were doing the same
Timescape.
Yeah, maybe that was very much like
something
this.
It had time in it. I remember the name had time in it, but yeah. That's the one where Picard reaches for the fruit bowl, and then he grows fingernails really quick, right?
Yeah.
That's the same one?
Yeah.
I like that episode, actually.
Yeah,
you know what? if you're gonna watch an episode, don't watch this. Watch that episode. It's better than this.
You don't have Mr. Negative wanting to die the whole time. Right?
Yeah. Well, Barkley's not even in it, so that's it. Any episode without Barkley and without Alexander is a good episode. Let's be honest. But anyway, so we get a nice close up now of the Romulan ship. This looks good. This is pimp. I like it. This is how they rolled back then.
But it's clearly Romulan. Like it's.
Yeah, it screams Romulan. You automatically are like, this is definitely Romulan. We're good, right? But overall, and I like how it goes back into its cloak. The cloak looks good. We get a lot of close-ups of the same mind just rotated. But you got to work with what you got, guys. You're not making 1,000 different ones.
No.
So, but anyway, and Mayweather obviously is flying the ship through a minefield. Guy couldn't avoid minefields coming in, but he can certainly get out of them, no problem. But anyway, so now we're back with Malcolm, and Malcolm's like, "Oh, I'm still playing with this thing, blah 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 blah," and he ends up. I guess they end up getting. What ends up happening? Something happens to Enterprise. It shakes them, and then I guess the mind decides it wants to put another claw out. That's what happened.
Yeah, I think that anytime it's like threatened, it just anchors itself more.
Yeah, it's anchoring itself more. During this point, I would basically, while watching this episode, I look like Kevin does right now, which is
when can this just end?
Yeah, when is this going to end?
The
only time Malcolm ever smiles.
We're going to see pictures now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there it is.
There it is, right there. Now this could have been done better. But you know what?
Fine.
It works for what it is. The thing I do like about this scene, though, is after he gets the puncture, all of a sudden the suit shoots out this weird gel shit to basically seal, reseal the suit, I guess. Very cool. I like that. And the fact that they somehow have dropped this technology out of the suits going forward makes no sense. But anyway,
at
it is.
First, I was like, "Jesus,
there's
that's
the gel thing.
Quick for an infection." But
yeah, infections are really fast in space. But yeah, no, it was. I thought that was cool. That was probably one of the neatest things in the whole episode, in my opinion. And it was this little tiny one-off thing that doesn't really make any difference. But anyway, it is what it is. So he gets punctured. So now we're back to Phlox again. Phlox is like, my eels, they're eating well today. But anyway, it was done something like that. But overall, Phlox was fine. I
like how Phlox likes having injured so he can test out his little animals.
Yeah. He's almost like a mad scientist, right? Like he's
no
like,
matter
he's
how
like, all right, more things to do.
I have just the thing for that.
No matter how bad things get, he's always like optimistic. He's always like, everything's
Reed should learn from him. He comes in with like no arm. I can fix that.
Yeah. He goes, I have a scratchy squirrel that I just picked up on Romulus 8 that might be able to help on this thing. He might munch on your arm for a bit, but it'll be fine. That kind of thing. But yeah, no, it's anything with Phlox is good. I don't think I've ever seen a bad Phlox scene. Other than maybe that weird one where he like does that weird smile, the CG smile.
I wish the smile would come back more.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but anyway. So then Hoshi's like, I'm fine. They need me on the bridge, and he's like, you can't even make it to outside the sick bay, you jackass. Now lay down. Basically, didn't say it that way, but that was basically what was portrayed. Hoshi, this is one of her only speaking lines in this entire episode, other than and
we should go back and figure out how many times she's been knocked out.
We should have like a knockout counter. Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Like she's in the episode and then she's not because she's unconscious.
Yeah, unconscious Hoshi cam. Yeah, we should have like a graphic for it. Like kind of like the spoiler alert ones. But anyway, so here's Archer, because it makes sense that the guy who's pierced on the outside of the ship might as well send the captain.
Oh yeah, yep, it's got to be the captain.
The captain is definitely the guy that needs to go out there. He literally was like, I just want to be able to go out in one of these damn suits, and this is a good time to do it. I'll exploit it.
No,
So
he's like, I
anyway,
didn't get a chance to finish my conversation this morning.
Yeah.
And now he can't leave.
he's
I
like,
think it-
I've already called Chef. He's going to bring up some eggs Benedict later.
I think Archer is such a control freak. He just can't let his team, his
Can't
staff
let anybody do anything.
do that without him like looking over their shoulder.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and Malcolm has this, I think it's early in the episode where Malcolm's like, I think, protocol's been relaxed too much on the bridge and blah, 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 this and blah, 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 that. And Archer's like, I like hearing the opinion of my, my bridge crew, which makes sense. Like, you don't have a bridge crew, so they literally just follow every order. Like, there's got to be some sort of, alternate reason to have them there. Or like you would just put in like a voice controlled computer and call it a day. Like it's, like you have bridge crew for a reason. So why not use them, right? But anyway, it is that's literally what they do through the whole thing. Anyway, so Malcolm's like, well, I can walk you through how to do this thing. Now, number one, if you're a guy who's now seeing a guy who's got his leg pierced by this thing, do you trust that he knows what he's doing at this point?
Well, hasn't he drugged him at this point?
Well, he did drug him. Yeah, he drugged him. He gave him some drugs. But on top of that, do you trust him? Like, he was out here for 10 minutes and ended up getting like a fatal wound. Like, it's, I don't know if I want instructions from this guy. Like, it's like at this point, the hall plating thing made more sense.
Yeah, it did make more sense from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Than having somebody go out there and try to defuse a bomb that they don't know anything about.
And we don't have any reason why the Enterprise can't fire on these mines. Like, yeah, obviously they explode. I get that point. But if they shoot ones that are far enough away, I guess maybe the problem is that like if they shoot one, like it'll cause like a chain explosion kind of thing. Maybe. But it would have been nice if they said that in the episode. That way we wouldn't be like, why don't you just shoot your way through?
The one that did explode didn't cause that.
No. So, yeah. Anyway. So, basically now we have the age-old thing where the guy who can defuse the bomb is injured and can't see everything.
Classic.
And now the guy who has no business touching bombs is the guy that's now doing it. We've seen this before. This is
1,000 times before.
Jody, cut the yellow wire.
Yes. Yeah. Cut the yellow wire. Cut the blue wire. But I can't see which blue wire it is. Is it the blue wire with the white stripe or the white wire with the blue stripe? That kind of thing.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm reminded of that Steven Seagal movie. Executive Decision. That's it. Terrible movie. But anyway, Executive Decision. They're like there's like a bomb on a plane and they have to like
there's
enter the plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Abyss. The Abyss when they were
the Abyss
trying to see the colors of the wire with a glow stick and they were both
with a pink glow stick. Yeah, it's like that's gonna work. But anyway, but I like the Abyss though. That was a great movie.
It was good.
Even though everybody was tortured
Director's
in that
cut
movie to make it.
Director's cut, not the.
Yeah, do the director's cut. Don't do the original. Yeah, it's terrible. Anyway, we got an external shot for some reason. And then they're like, okay, well, we're still flying around here, I guess, and we're now out.
Big conference.
Yeah, here's the conference of the meeting of the minds. We have Hoshu who doesn't, who has head trauma again. She has more head trauma than a hockey player in the NHL. Like this girl gets a lot of head trauma. She should probably just have a helmet. Like that might be a good idea. Maybe she should just wear a helmet all the time. And then you have Trip who's like, shit's getting blown up around here, And then you have T'Pol who's like, meh, if people die, they die. It's all good. Did we even need this scene? Anybody get anything good out of it?
Well, they needed it for the translation. That's it.
Yeah, the translation, I guess. That's about it. And the translation was basically like, piss off and get out of here kind of thing. That was literally all it was. And T'Pol's like, oh yeah, these are Romulans. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. Yeah, these are Romulans. We've never met them before. Aren't they descendants of your race? But anyway,
But they don't figure that out until TNG. Because even
that's
Spock,
true.
Spock seems surprised at that.
Actually, you're right. Yes. Okay. Well, continuity's good there.
So what? The Vulcans don't know this?
The Vulcans at
Evidently
this
not.
stage in the game do not know this, apparently. I wonder if the Romulans know this.
I can't believe that. Anyway, whatever.
But that's the way it's written in the original series.
In the original, yeah. Either way, it is what it is. Trip looks rough, which is always nice to see. He very rarely looks rough in an episode, so he's looking pretty worn down and rough. So I kind of like that. I like
he's
the
even
fact
got
that
dirty fingernails there. Look at that.
Yeah, dirty fingernails.
It's easier to take him seriously when he doesn't look like he just
Now,
the cover of a magazine.
I don't know about you guys, but I got a weird feeling about this guy. Like in this episode, he wasn't annoying.
No,
like
because
at
he was
all.
barely in it.
Yeah,
I know, but the time he was in it, I wasn't like, oh, there's Trip being a jackass again.
I think we're almost at the turning point with this guy.
Yeah, his character does progress. He's one of the characters that progresses.
Yelling at the screen out of turn. Like,
you never gave us a chance.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He gets a lot more proper later on.
You want us to fail from the get-go.
Yeah, you wanted
like every episode almost. He just ends up yelling at the screen.
Yeah, he's literally the only guy that yells out a turn in this.
At an admiral or an ambassador.
Yeah, he doesn't care who it is. He's like, I'm gonna tell you to fuck off.
Like
and
Archer's like
just
saying, "Shut up."
Yeah, exactly. So it's it's brutal. But anyway, so we have T'Pol being bored, kind of like I was while I was watching this episode. Anyway, so here we are.
We're still here. Oh my god!
On Captain Hero and the Musketeer. I still don't know why he's out there. Like anybody else, like the guy from engineering would make more sense than this guy.
Trip says that, and he's correct.
Trip is not wrong. Trip should be out there, not the captain who likes water polo.
That struck me too when they're talking about it, and he says, "Captain, I'm the chief engineer. I should go," and he goes, "That's why you have to stay here." Why?
What? Is there anything more pressing than perhaps the mine that's going to blow up on our ship and take it out?
In this situation, we need an engineer on the bridge. What?
Yeah. Like, do they have to fix like Hoshi's console or something because her head hit it too many times? Like, what's going on here?
I guess, or Archer can be replaced. The engineer can't. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, that could be it. I don't know. There's a whole lot of nonsense in this episode, I guess is the easiest way to say it. Anyway. So they end up using these weird plier things to move this thing. I don't even know why this tool exists, but
why couldn't you just grab them with your hands?
Yeah,
they stick out far enough.
Or like something shorter than this. Pair of needle nose pliers, maybe. It would have been fine. But I guess we had to, see future tools that don't make any sense. But anyway, so he does this. He's screwing these things, and apparently the complex pattern is you have to start with one and then you have to go across the dial to the other one and do that like one
putting on a car tire. You go in a star pattern.
It's literally putting on a car tire. You're literally tightening the lug nuts on a tire after you've changed it. That's literally what this is. The Romulans are like, the humans will never guess this. But anyway, it's stupid, but whatever. I guess there could have been harder ways to do this, but anyway.
And did there need to be 5 different trigger mechanisms? Like, can we just figure out one?
Yeah. Like, even Malcolm looks bored at this point, and he's got something sticking through his leg, and he's bored. Like, he's like, oh, this is so boring. I can't believe Archer's here. I just wanted to die without Archer being here.
Now I got to walk my captain through this.
Yeah. God. So then you have a scene with Trip, and then you have
Like Trip just looks
Mayweather-
tired, like and exhausted.
Yeah,
like,
Tripp's just like, I've had a fucking day. Like, I've had a day. I just want some pecan pie, and I want to go to bed.
And he's like, I'm
Yeah.
one person dying from being in charge of all of this.
Yeah, I am literally in charge of these nut bars, and these guys are all terrible. Let's base the only useful one gets knocked out every second episode, so I can't do anything with that.
well, you know what? And T'Pol just looks like she's like fresh as a daisy. She's
Yeah.
like pissed off. Like, when are we gonna get moving?
Yeah, T'Pol's just like whatever. And then we have this little exchange between Mayweather and Tripp, and Tripp has the same look on his face that I would if Mayweather was talking to me. I'd be like, oh, come on, Mayweather, shut up. Anyway, so here we are again, the world's longest.
Did they try to cut
Defusal.
those legs at all? I wonder.
Probably. Oh no, because he said he was going to, and he's like, but there's a trigger mechanism in that as well.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's why they can't cut it. But
Right.
Right.
So anyway, Dork
Everything
Archer
is
there.
a trigger mechanism. Like,
Yeah, everything's a trigger on this thing. These things probably are like $3 billion to make each because of
Very
all the sensors
complicated.
on them. Yeah, it's just crazy. And these ones are blue, so I guess that means they're good. But I don't know. Anyway, you'd think
And
green
then,
would be good, but
is this where he says we have another problem?
Yes.
I have to pee.
Yeah.
Oh
Another
my
problem.
fucking
I have
God.
to pee. Yeah.
I was already hating this episode.
No,
Jesus fucking Christ.
this
after
is the
that.
future, man. These suits must have some sort of waste management system built into them. Come on. You can't tell me
No,
that they're just taking
someone
their
just
dicks out
cleans
in
it when
space
they
and
get
taking
back.
pisses on the hull. Like, come on.
No, they were just like. You're right. It's just,
You're right. I like that. You're right. I'm defeated. This whole episode defeats me.
like every time there's a bathroom joke, it's the British guy that has to talk about it. I mean, they've
Yeah.
even gone that far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, this takes too long. This is just, it's so like, that scene in like Mission Impossible where he's like coming down from the roof and he's trying to put like the disc in the computer and shit like that. That had suspense, right?
Yeah, this
And
does
it was still moving all the time. This doesn't. It's literally the exact same thing from different angles for an hour. It's oh, you're like, oh, there he is again, still playing with the same stupid thing, but now he's over there instead. Like, there's no
not.
there's no sense of
thinking-
urgency at all in these scenes. Like,
when you're already thinking, you already came up with a better plan than this and
Yeah.
decided not to do it.
but instead, let's put the captain of the ship and make him defuse the mine instead of giving it to the engineering guy who literally could do it probably in like 3 minutes. But, no, let's get the untrained dude who's going to take 2 hours to do this. Malcolm's internally hemorrhaging in his leg, but, no big deal. It's fine. And he's like, wow, I really do have to pee. All right. Anyway. And he's like, I wonder if I just pee in my suit right here, it'll be fine.
Yes. Go
Yeah,
for
you
it.
might as well. Like they must have a cleaning service on Enterprise. Like, it's fine. Anyway, here's T'Pol and her I'm kind of excited pose.
No, this is how she always sits in the captain's chair.
It's true.
I fucking love it. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
She's
why does
always
she
like-
do that?
It's a
Right,
Is she, like
pose.
just ready to pounce or something? Like,
It's like she can never be comfortable.
Well, look how small she is. If she sat back, she'd have her legs would be swinging like a kid's.
Yeah.
actually, that's true. Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe it's literally just because of her size and
I mean, she must be. Very
I think it's also supposed to
small.
signify that she's not really supposed to be in that chair ever.
Or it's just that she's like, I see Archer walk around a lot. Is that going to be required of me?
Yeah.
Ready to stand up, Kevin. I'm ready to
She's ready to-
stand up.
She's ready to stand up. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we get another Romulan warbird shows up. Well, I don't know if these are warbirds, but whatever. Again, this was okay, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
So they get threatened, and here's very, very tired Trip. Not annoying Trip, which I liked. That was probably a good takeaway to the episode, is he's not annoying. And they're obviously off their ass end of the ship. And he's like, well, I guess we better rush then. Yeah, you've only been out there for like 2 hours at this point. you've spent literally every moment talking about peeing in suits instead of actually doing the 5-minute job that it probably would have been if you sent Trip out here. But whatever, that's fine. At this point, like, really, Reed would be dead probably at this point, like with the amount of hemorrhaging going on in his leg, and his arteries are going nuts. But anyway,
That's too bad.
Here's that tool again. The tool that literally shouldn't exist, but it does.
I think I have something in my garage that I don't even know what it does like that. Like something.
You think so? Yeah, probably. Now this little screen thing, I thought that was cool to look at. Neat little prop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a nice device, so they don't have to like talk back and forth about what Archer is seeing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, this takes forever. And now these are blue. I don't understand the logic here. What's he doing here? I don't get it.
He's fucking shit up.
Fair enough. All right. Then he's like, hey, here's my air hose.
Oh my God.
You can have it. Of course, we've never seen this before either. Except pretty much every time we see somebody in a suit in Star Trek, this happens. Somebody runs out of fucking air, and somebody.
He's doing it on purpose.
But he did it on purpose.
Yeah, he did it on purpose this time.
Like, what is he trying to do here? The captain's got a mission right now: defuse the bomb. Don't worry. He should be sent back to Earth. Honest to God.
Yeah, there's probably a reason why they keep telling them probably to head back. It's probably because they just want Archer off the damn thing.
Plus, like, if you have somebody who's suicidal on your crew, you might want to get them some help and not let them back to work.
Yeah.
Or
pressure him into doing things that he doesn't want to do. Like that's also a very, like, literally they're constantly throughout. And this is something that happens throughout this series. They constantly put him in situations that he doesn't want to be in. And in some scenarios, he has to be because that's his job. But there's also like social ones that never have to happen, but yet they put him into him anyway because they're assholes to him.
Like throwing him a birthday party.
Yes, yeah, stuff like that. Like it's just stupid.
Here too, he tries to kill himself so that they'll jettison the panel.
Yeah,
but then Archer gets him all fixed up, gives him some of his air. I assume that's what was going on in that scene.
Yeah.
And then leaves him there and goes back in the ship.
Yeah.
This guy that just tried to kill himself.
Yep. Yeah. It's fine. Yeah, you were having some space madness. It's fine.
He's like, he won't do that again.
What would happen if they tried to beam him out of there?
That's what I was thinking the whole time. Why not just try the transporter?
I never even thought of that, but yeah, you know what? What do you have to lose at this point? like the guy's suicidal to begin with.
He wants to die anyway. If you
know what? If you fuck it up, it's no harm, no foul, right? Like it's. I guess maybe they're more worried about blowing up the ship at this point if they transport him out.
I guess.
Just keep him in the pattern buffers and leave him there for a decade.
Just leave him there for. Put him with Scotty eventually. It'll be fine.
Right.
Scotty and him can hang out. But anyway, so we get a good look at the ship being broken, which I just accidentally passed. Again, I like when they do the damage shots in this show. I think they look good.
This show
especially
does
compared
props and visuals really well.
Yes.
It's all really good.
Well, and they also do they're going to be in high def, right? So the fact that they're in high def and this is the first high def show, I think they really did have to step it up as well anyway. Like, because if you watch some of the like next gen, like even though they've high def redone them, when you see some of the next gen stuff, you're like, wow, that's bad.
Like or original series.
Oh yeah,
the original 80s. Series, yeah. Well, like if you look at the Bridge of the Enterprise in the first season, first season of the Bridge of the Enterprise in next gen, like there's carpets everywhere, there's like seams everywhere.
Like Marriott.
Oh yeah.
Dave loves that ship. You tell you about that?
Oh, yeah.
I like to eat myself.
Oh,
anyway.
we've been told.
Yeah.
Probably more than once. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Great ship if you're really cool about hanging out in hotel lobbies, I guess.
And you like taupe.
If you like taupe, that is the ship for you, for sure. But anyway, so yeah, T'Pol's like, Archer, you're such a dumbass. Why did this take so long? But she didn't actually say that, but that's what she was thinking. Let's be honest. We all know that. We get another beauty shot of the wreckage. Overall, I thought it was cool. This is the rare time when she looks like she's chewing on something. But anyway, it looks like Trip at this point has had a shower. I guess he had time during this crisis to have a shower because he's looks cleaner now. I don't know if that's just the lighting. Again, I like the fact that these are all serial numbered plates. I think that's great. I'm glad that they showed it because a lot of them are lazy that way. So they're like, we'll just lift this plate. You know, the thing we should have did an hour ago. Why didn't we just do this then? But anyway.
Yeah. This was the stupidest shit I've ever seen.
I was waiting for your response on this one.
Seen.
Yeah, I kind of knew you were going to have
It was already a fucking bad episode, and then
they turned it up to 11 when it comes to bad. Yeah, absolutely. This is dumb. This is I can't even justify this. I try to justify things in old shows. I can't justify this. This is so stupid. And I don't get why they did this. Anybody?
I don't know.
I gave up on this episode like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, me too.
They just but oh my god, like get me the shuttle bay doors or the shuttle pod doors.
Yeah.
So I can hold on to them. And like this mine blew apart a part of the ship.
Yeah, it did.
They're going to survive
to two decks, but they're going to survive this without getting shot off the fucking hull in random space.
They would be fucking liquefied.
And what happens to a human being when they get grabbed by the grappler? I bet that thing fucking tears them apart. It's like fishing with harpoon guns. Like it's
the dumbest shit I've ever seen on TV.
I did like this shot though. This shot looked cool. I like that.
It looks good. Like
that looked neat.
Yeah,
I like that. But anyway, not that it justifies any of it. But and then there's Mayweather going, I bet I can make this into a ghost story later. Maybe the ghosts of the Romulan ships. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, here they are with this blast shielding shit again. This is it's. I've seen this episode like 3 times, and I've only ever seen that ending once because
you never made
every time I never get to it. Once I see that, I'm just like, I'm done. I don't need to watch this anymore. So anyway, but yeah, so he's now severing the leg that he couldn't sever earlier. Like, why didn't they just amputate his leg, man? Like, just do that. Like, get him off the fucking hull.
Phlox will grow him a new one.
Well, Phlox would probably be able to put it back on. Like, just chop off a nice like 1.5 inches on both sides. Or he
just get one of his animals.
He might be a little shorter, but it'll be fine. Like you just get him those, you get him the shoes that have the extra platform on it. It's fine. It'll be good. You can even make it as part of the series. He limps for the rest of the series. Like
they just didn't want to listen to Reed complain about his peg leg for the rest of the journey.
Oh, probably. It would have gave him at least something to talk about.
Why didn't you just kill me, Captain? Now I have to live with this for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah, we would get like this salty episode, like when Worf breaks his back and wants somebody to kill him.
I'd rather
when Nog loses his.
That's such a terrible episode too. But anyway, I don't even. Yeah, okay, I guess that's Archer. Anyway, there's those blast doors again.
Oh, God damn.
I was hoping they would start like trying to like do some space surfing on them. Like kind of like they're
ride the shot.
Oh wait, they are.
Might as well at this point. I mean, this is awful.
It is awful. Yeah. Okay. We're riding the wave right now of the thing. Now, number one, when you have a force in space, it literally will push you, and you'll be infinitely pushed until you're stopped.
Like you have no resistance in space.
There's no resistance. So these guys should be like fucking dead and like on some other planet at this point. Like, fuck you, Mayweather. Anyway, it's
and then the episode just ends again.
Yeah,
it's one of these ones.
They take off, and the Romulans are like, "Where did the humans go?" And that's pretty much it.
And then it's like, oh, it's 10 seconds. It's 20 seconds. It's an order. Like, fuck off. Like, what is that to an end of like it? And it just ends. Like,
yeah. and then they're huddled around people, and Malcolm's like, I got a hole in my leg, and this took a whole episode. You guys are asses. That was it. It's awful. Do we have fun facts?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do those because this is just terrible.
So there was a scene that we would have liked to see.
All right, hold on. I got to get over there.
Sorry, you're not ready.
No worries. There we go. We're back. All right. So let me get the fun facts with Adam thing here. Oh, there it is.
Okay, here we
Facts
go.
With Adam.
So Jody, there was a scene that we would have liked to have seen today. In the sick bay was full of injured crewmen. Ensign Sato or Hoshi decides to stand up, but Dr. Phlox stops her. He tells her that her injuries don't appear to be serious, and that that the present circumstances should not keep them from continuing their denobium lessons. So I guess he's funny.
Yeah.
He retakes the class about anatomy, asking how to say thyroid gland and hypothalamus and xiphoid process. She gets the first two right, but it makes a mistake on the last one, saying a word that can be misinterpreted as big toe. Phlox corrects her and resumes the lesson with pericardium.
Oh, really? Okay.
That would have been more interesting.
That would have been more interesting.
Agree.
First time on that.
I hope this was his last time. The first time Star Trek writer John Shiban had originally planned for the antagonist to be unknown aliens, but during a writing staff session to beat out the episode structure, Brannon Braga suggested this could be Romulans, which instantly excited and intrigued Shiban. Shiban had watched every episode of Enterprise to prepare for his first script, choosing to explore the Reed-Archer dynamic, which clearly wasn't the same friendship as Archer and Tucker had. He further noted that we don't know a lot about Reed, which makes him very interesting character, and I don't understand that at all. He's wrong. We know what his favorite food is. We know about a little bit of his relationship with his parents. We've got a situation where Reed and Archer are forced together. So what do they do to learn about each other, and how will they work together? Right.
Yeah.
The numbers that you've called out on the hull are visible, right? And there are also drawings on the space shuttle. They all start with the same numbers, V070. So it likely a drawing for a shuttle tile. Interesting, eh?
That is kind of neat.
This is the second instance of Malcolm needing to use the bathroom at an inconvenient time. The first was in Terra Nova, where he was shot and held by captains on Novans.
Yes.
He needs to see the doctor.
Yeah. Perhaps he should talk to Phlox. Maybe they have an eel that they can put on things for him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
The Romulan mine prop was later used as a reactor of the Xindi weapon in Star Trek Enterprise Countdown. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? There's nothing else really exciting about this episode.
You know what? This episode still sucks.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you, Adam. I guess we should rate this thing then, huh? What do you think? Shall we?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Dave gave this a 7.5.
What?
What the hell is wrong with Dave?
Huh.
He must be sick. That's the only thing I can think of. I can leave mine till the end. Adam.
What's my lowest rating so far?
Lowest rating right now is sitting at a 4.
5? Okay, well, this is a 3 then, because this is worse than anything we've done.
This is worse than anything that we've ever had. All right, fair enough. That makes sense to me. I dig it. Kevin.
This is a 0. This is a relentless
0. There's nothing you can give this.
This is a relentless piece of shit. It's awful.
Wow.
It is supposed to.
I don't even know if I can give it a 0. I think it screws up the average. How about 0.1?
This is supposed to make Reed a more fucking
likable
character, and I just hate him more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awful. 0. Relentless piece of shit.
Let's do a 0 and see if it actually does affect the rating. Oh, it does. Yep. Okay, good. All right.
So look at this. Kevin's 10, 10, 10, 0.
0. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm not usually so bipolar, but Jesus, this episode.
No, listen. I'm gonna join you in the 0 category because
yeah, it's bad.
I think change mine to 0, please.
You want a 0?
Yeah.
Really?
I hated it. It was too long. I'm even bored now.
I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give this a 2. And the only reason why I'm giving it a 2 is because the effects were good. I like the design of the props. That's it.
Dave has to justify his 7 next week. I want to know why.
Yeah, I want.
no
you know what? We're highlighting this one. We're gonna be. We're gonna be like, motherfucker, explain this shit. There we go. All right. Anyway, I've probably sworn way more than I'm allowed to in the show, but anyway, I have anyway. Yeah, it's bad. So anyway, combined effort right now is currently sitting at a 2.4. IMDb gives this a 7.4, which just goes to show you that IMDb doesn't know its ass from a hole in the ground. Wow. Like, yeah, I don't expect everybody in the world to agree with me, and they shouldn't.
This is awful.
This is like, a bad episode.
Even a matter of an opinion. It's just
like,
awful.
Dude, I think this is the, and I'm usually
this
trying
is
to
the
see the
sub rosa of this show. This episode.
Yeah. Well, Dave likes Sub Rosa, so there.
So
you
do
go.
I. I don't like
Sub
this.
Rosa is a terrible episode. Maybe Code of Honor then.
I like that episode too. I know it's supposed to be racist now.
I'm trying to find a bad episode of Next Gen. What's the worst episode of Next Gen for you, Kevin?
Oh God, I don't know. I have.
Oh, you know what? Oh no, we don't have that. We don't have ratings for that. But yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad. Do not. You know what? You can skip it. It doesn't add anything at all. This is a skip it episode for sure. You know what? You come off of Carbon Creek, which is a solid episode. And you go to this, like, what were they thinking? Like what were they thinking?
Oh, they're getting ahead of steam. They're everything's and just
yeah. You're giving out 10s like they're candy.
You know what? What part of the problem is with this episode? No guest stars.
Oh, true.
No guest stars.
Maybe that's part of the problem. Yeah. That could have been something to do with it, I guess. I think Malcolm is the real problem here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's
and not enough Hoshi, not enough Dr. Phlox, nothing. Like
not enough of the characters that we actually want to see. We get characters that we don't want to see, and we get them long and drawn out. Yeah, it's
bad.
It's bad. Yeah, I guess that's about all I can really say about it. It's now the next episode is episode, what is it, 29th, I guess?
Dead Stop, it's called.
Dead Stop, yes, which is the Enterprise docks with a strange automated repair space station, which proves too good to be true. This is
like this episode.
This is a cool episode because I can't think of any other series that did anything like this episode.
Yeah, I agree.
I remember when I first saw this episode, I'm thinking, oh shit, is this like the Caretaker type thing from Voyager? And then I'm like, okay, no, it's not. Okay, good. Kevin, I guarantee you that you will have more fun in the next week's episode.
I won't give it a 0.
You won't give it a 0. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is probably the garbage of this show. This is
only
probably
other
one of the worst
0
episodes
I've ever given out is the Muse in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, that's a terrible episode. That's so bad. Actually, I would probably rate the Muse better than this episode.
No, they're both,
but not much. Yeah, they're not much. You know what? I'm rethinking my 2, guys. I might have given it a little too much, but I got to rethink that. I might adjust it next week. But anyway, that's it. That's all we got. I can't believe we spent an hour talking about this.
I thought we'd be like 40 minutes, but okay.
I thought this was going to be a fast episode.
Usually
they be like, it's
quick.
Shit, and then move on. But apparently we had a lot to say. I guess when an episode angers you, you have more to say about the episode.
Yeah.
So, but anyway. All right, gentlemen. Well, unless anybody else has something else to say. We have a comment here. What's the comment? Let's see if I can. Oh, I think it's a Sam comment. Sam says, hey.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
There you go. All 3 of us said hey to you. And we say hey to Chris Murphy as well. Thank you for your comments. And, of course, Dave Mader, who had some obligations. So hopefully he'll be back next week. probably good that he missed this episode because he probably would have rated it really high, like he did.
Well, we would have been piling on him the whole episode. Which
this would have been a
fun.
2-hour episode.
It would have been
Dave
fun.
was here. Because Dave would have been like, "What are you guys talking about? That was interesting."
Pretty sure 7.5 though is a pretty low Dave rating. He doesn't really.
Well, hold on. Let me check Dave's rating. Nope, Dave has given out a couple 4.5s.
Oh, okay.
He gave out Oasis a 4.5. However, he was still the highest rated on that episode. And then Rogue Planet, he gave a 4.5. And Adam actually gave that one a 7.5, and we said that Adam was crazy. So
which one was that episode?
Oasis. Or sorry, not Oasis. That is, where is it now? I literally just had it here. Where did it go? Rogue Planet. What is Rogue Planet? Hold on. Let me check
it
that
out here. I got it right here.
You got it there? Rogue Planet. What was Rogue Planet? It's been so long, gentlemen. It's been a long,
this is the one where
road.
Jonathan. Oh, he's uncomfortable posing for pictures for Starfleet headquarters when the Enterprise discovers a road planet that's broken out of its orbit. Yeah, and they just.
Oh yes, okay, yeah. I remember that one now. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. All right. Either way, we're done, gentlemen. The good news is we hit the pothole. We got out of the pothole. Hopefully, we won't have any more potholes this season. I hate to break it to you, but there's going to be at least one more that I can think of. But I'm not going to give you any heads up.
Not next week.
Okay.
Not next week, though. Next week's episode's great.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if you didn't rate it fairly high, Kevin. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Coming back up.
So anyway.
We'll see.
Right, we'll see if it can come back and make Kevin happy again with his 10s, giving out 10s like he's. I don't think you're going to give it a 10, but it's a good episode. Anyway, that's it. So join us for other things on this channel because I guess I got to do those too. DS9 at 9 that comes back. Is it next week, Kevin?
Nope, this week, Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday this. Oh, you're on Wednesday now.
Yeah, because hockey's still going on Tuesday.
Oh, hockey's still going on. So the new time Wednesday at 9ish, I'm guessing.
Yep.
And do you happen to know what episode it is you guys are covering? You're just starting the Dominion War, basically, right?
Yeah, I think it's called Purgatory Shadow.
Oh yes. Actually, you're doing 2 episodes, right?
Yes.
For the next one, 2 episodes.
Yeah, we always do the 2-parters.
Yeah, and then on Thursday, I think at 8 p.m., I think we're doing that one. That Strange New Worlds, the next episode, which is episode, what is it, 7 or 6?
6, I think.
Is it 6?
I could be wrong.
I think it's actually 7, but I could be wrong. Either way, that series has been great so far.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
Better than this, for sure. And then past that, Dave does other stuff, which I don't care about because it's not Star Trek. And we also have Trivial Debates, which I don't know when that's coming back, but
it's all on the internet.
You know what? Honestly, if Dave wanted to plug them, he would have gave me something to plug them with, and he didn't. So screw him. All right. And of course, check out our friends' podcasts such as Davin. He has the Lacudras of Trek podcast, and you guys probably have podcasts, but we're not going to plug you. And
I do not.
I don't either. Yeah. So all 3 of us don't. So, you know, we see grass every so often. Anyway. All right. Well, I'm Jody, and for Kevin and Adam, live long and prosper and podcast and all that crap. All right. Should we leave with something? Do you think?
Do you have something?
No, I don't.
Okay. Goodbye.
So I don't know why I asked that question. All right. So bye.